Hi everyone, this is Trish Kane. Welcome back to another week of the Healerverse Infamous Roundtable. Uh, Join us on 5dhealerverse.com. We have amazing practitioners on there that you can work with, and events and courses. And a lot of cool things are coming out in the next couple weeks. Welcome to January. I think this is our second or third one in January. And it's been such a good vibration throughout the Healerverse Roundtable and Healerverse in general, with the Roundtable and virtual events and in real life events. I am so excited for who we have today because we met, I think, on LinkedIn a few years back. And then we were together in California. We've stayed in contact this whole entire time. He is launching an amazing platform called CNES and a lot of other amazing things that he's going to tell us about today. And I know that this is going to be amazing. So without further ado, I give you Nandhiji.
Namaste, divine beings. Namaste. Thank you, Trish, for having me here. And it is so much of a blessing and happiness to meet and connect with each one of you here. Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. So, see, we are living in a world where transitioning is happening so fast. So much of information is there for us. With AI, things are fastened, speeded out. But through all of this, if we all notice, there is a rise in consciousness. There's a rise in the way we each think. Each one of us, we're beginning to think from a greater place, greater than before, greater than the past. And this is not an individual phenomena alone. This is a global phenomena that's happening all across the globe. With the Iranian Revolution simply calling out, for our awareness. So to understand the dynamics of what's going on outside ourselves and what's going on even within ourselves is the opportunity to see what it is to bring our focus to multiply it further. See, all sages from nearly all cultures, all across the globe, would talk about a very important need, a desire within every human, and that is to be free from limitations, to be free from poverty, to be free from ill health, you know. So the captivity is the limitations. And what happens when we realize that we are not confined into fate? We can be the master of our destiny. We can reset everything that is shortcoming. And we can be liberated to actually be the abundances we seek in every form, like in relationships, like in our work, in every dimension, not only wealth. Now, we are beginning to understand that the I component has dissolved to the we. Now, this is the father of mathematics. You could say the mathematician of this century. His name is Ramanujan. And his mathematics is still used. And it's still unfolding. The freeways in America to just about most calculations are based on his foundational work on mathematics. And he had a very interesting way to say where he was obtaining that genius from. And he would say that his in his ancestral home was a goddess whom he was worshipping, and she would download for him all the equations he needed to know. Everything that he wanted to know, she would basically guide him. Now, this is the power from a different dimension. If we look into it, it's the power where the I has dissolved to the we. Now, when we meditate, what happens is our I has dissolved and now we are coming to the we. This we is source connected. This we is God, Goddess connected. If you notice, I'm saying source, God, Goddess, because how we approach the divine is our own individual beautiful ways. So we celebrate consciousness. We celebrate everyone moving to that direction. We celebrate it because that's needed and it's most beautiful. But it is your personal connectivity. And that personal connectivity is important because faith and hope essentially leads us to the same meeting point, the same oneness. The same that we are all wanting for ourselves, to be happy, to be abundant in all spheres, to ensure that we can make this place a better place before we leave it. But from all of this is another dimension that pops up, and that what pops up is, what is your purpose? Why do we exist? That's a big question. Why do we exist? And the day we've understood what is your purpose from the place of knowing, then we are inspired. When we are inspired, there's no place for stress. There's no place for even ill health. To know your purpose. So how do you know your purpose? Because it's easy to say, I want, I want, I want. It's easy to set into the law of the law of attraction, anything you want. But have you put yourself into a cage? Are we opening the cage and tending our wings to fly? That comes from where are you thinking from? Everything relates to, okay, so if we are transforming our I to the we, the spirit, and now seeing everything not from the attachment end that can put us into a cage of the same old, but instead we are saying, hey, wait a minute. Let's basically look at everything as an eagle. An eagle glides. An eagle conquers territory. It's able to see. It's able to bring itself to focus. Now, when we have attained the eagle mind, now we are masters of our destiny. That really means we have transcended the karmic patterns. We've transcended that which is keeping us limited. And instead, all that which is karma is now transformed to the greater being that we are, like Helen Keller. Now, the example of Helen Keller is the entrapment for her in her five senses in such a bad way that he had no other way but to basically wake up and go beyond the five senses, to conquer the five senses and understand life. So from here is the dimension where we are talking about our individual potential. What is that individual potential we have that we can multiply ourselves? And that happens when we all know our purpose, our higher purpose. And this higher purpose comes from the knowing. So how do you come to the knowing? Hold and grasp that which lights a fire inside you, the inner fire. This inner fire is a very powerful concept, especially for anyone seeking the light. Anyone seeking the light. In the law of attraction, it says any thought held for a sufficient number of time manifests for you that reality. Now, imagine you hold one singular thought and say, hey, God, I want to be you. And you hold the thought for years together. Would you not be the divine? Would you not be the divine? Now, that is the transformation of human to becoming a yogi. The transition from a human to be a divine being. The transition to basically be the angel. The transition to actually create heavens as your experience and heavens as our realities. This is the possibility of the transformation of the I to the we with the inner fire. So the next question is, how do you light it? How do you light this inner fire? It's simple. The first dimension is understanding ourselves from the very roots. Okay, we will take a little journey through breath, a small journey, just in 5 minutes, just so that we can understand and recognize ourselves and understand where we need our awareness to be every moment for the transformation to be. See, we take so many births. Each time we are taking a birth, we come to resolve the past and create a greater future. Every birth we are taking. And this birth or rebirth is actually every day. You sleep, you're dead. You wake up, we are alive. So every day we are awakening to the rebirthing of a grander self of ours. Now, if we are doing that as the first, then where does evolution begin? Evolution begins with our root chakra. And when we experience God in our awakened state, the first thing we are going to ask God for is, hey, God, give me the right thoughts. Teach me, guide me to a greater you, guide me to a greater me, guide me. And keep that as an intent. This is called a chin mudra. Okay. When you do this, our energy is regulated and we are able to go and transcend and move into the third eye. Okay. Now, when we say ah, start from the roots. We are going to say ah 3 times. Okay. Ah, just the sound ah. Okay. But move that ah like a pillar of light inside you from your root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. Okay. Then the second round, allow the ah to move up and then settle it in the third eye. And then the third eye, from the third eye, be the infinite light. Okay? Take a deep inhale, hold the breath, climb up to the third eye. And from the third eye, ascend it. From the third eye, seat your awareness as an eagle, dissolve in the we, the light of all the masters, the light of all the lights as one. And keep your mouth closed so now it becomes vibrationary. Rub your palms together. Rub your palms together. Think of your mother on your left hand. Think of your father on your right hand. Think of the divine mother on the left. Think of the father on the right hand. Think of your left breath. Think of your right breath coming together. Think of timelessness and time coming together. Think of the divine as God and goddess coming together. Think of yourself coming to yourself together. Think of all the blessings of light there is in the world coming together. And you are receiving the blessings and bless yourself with the light. Put your palms over your eyes and receive the blessings. Receive the light, receive the blessings, and understand we are never alone. We are always one. One that is the innermost sacred fires. If you notice when we were saying there was an inner fire. This same inner fire is something that we can magnify by chanting, by singing to the divine. We connect to the divine in our own beautiful ways. All that matters is between ourselves and the divine. That's all. Nothing else. So within all of this is this expanded states of consciousness. So divine beings. Now, in terms of purpose as to whom we are, what is it? My purpose woke up when I landed in America 25 years ago, just 10 days before September 11th. And my question was, how could such a thing happen in the name of religion? And then a few years later, I woke up to the solution. And the solution was declaration of independence was freedom for a nation. The next step with the progress of humanity is declaration of consciousness, the intrinsic inherent principles that is so necessary for coexistence, human coexistence. And declaration of consciousness essentially works with the principle, the very first principle, and that's ahimsa, non-violence. The second is women rights, women's equality. But I would like to take it to the third step, and that is venerating the woman as divine. Think of our mother as the divine guru who brought us here. Give her her love and her worship, her respect. Treat her as God. Think of her as God. That's another dimension that basically helps, because the moment we understand the divine as the divine feminine, there is going to be inclusivity, righteousness, and equality in the society. Then comes the other dimension with the children and children protection. And then we have unity amongst all of us. Pray to God, your own beautiful ways. Each one of us are unique. Each one of us have a unique religion because it's our own unique, special relationship with God, Goddess, Source, Infinity, Nothingness. That's each for himself. Okay, and then equality, inequality, righteousness in the works, and planet Earth. Now, all of this we are working at to move it into the United Nations, to have the day of consciousness declared, and consciousness principles as the intrinsic, inherent right of every human across the globe. Now, based on this, for the last 18 years, I've been building a platform. The platform to reach 1 billion or more in all the ways of possibilities, from interaction, engagement, and experience. And Seamless is the next generation social media super app. The site is now nearly ready. It is ready for us to basically, I would welcome each one of you to go in and actually explore Cenus.io. That is the basics. Now, Cenus.io is a company that is something that I'd love you guys to come in, get started. Let's basically redefine the world through this platform. Then there is another dimension, and that dimension is when we talk about companies, when we talk about enterprises, we have to see what is it that we are looking from a macro picture. And the macro picture is over $650 billion are spent on advertising and promo in America alone. And 75% of all of this is for branding, good branding. What is the best brand you can have? That we are defining by way of our CNSworks.com. That site is also ready. It's in the process of near launch. We are trying to do a soft landing for both the sites, CNSworks.com. Okay, we are doing a soft landing. It really means it's individual, like each of us coming together to basically start putting it into work. And any one of us who are in touch, if you feel you have greater way to play over here together, it works. Do you see the flower of life behind me? That is the interconnectivity between all of us. And that is the same interconnectivity we would like to give to each other in all the ways on how we can support each other. So a secret, is a secret for our manifestation is this. Whenever you want to really, really manifest anything, write your idea in 6 points. Okay? Now you will begin to start having some limitations at the 4th point and 5th point, but the 6th point will always be brilliant, right? Now, when you put things together in 6, it manifests, it brings together things. But that 6 also represents ourselves. It represents our interconnectivity, our 5 senses. The moment we have been able to conquer them, the 6th sense opens up. And now we are the 6th dimensional. So as a 6th dimensional being, that is the formulation of the beehive. To anything that is really successful, the 6th dimension comes in. Okay. So let us all connect together in the sense of wanting to create the ultimate supreme experience of heavens for ourselves, to be happy, to be inspired, to be able to complete our higher purpose. And the other is enable a world that is the heavens for all of us. Every one of us, all of us need to be happy. All of us are to be on the pathway to be liberated and not only happy, but completing ourselves. So in this way, we are the oneness that we are seeking. And we are the oneness that we have found. Gratitude, divine beings. Thank you. So, I would welcome any questions from anyone here, and you could type your questions, and I would love to respond to you, answer you. Yes.
Thank you so much, beautiful Nandhiji. I love you. You're amazing. You know what's really cool about who we have here today? We also have the Peace Tribe on the call. And Chad and Lourdes that I just met yesterday. She lives near me, but she went up by Chad. And we have one of my friends from nearby that we've been doing all these beautiful drum circles since the first of the month. And we're like really building a community out here in Jupiter, Florida. So I want to invite you to come stay with me as well whenever you want. Come. And Manny, who's another Healerverse practitioner. And I love what you shared. It was so powerful, and just so beautifully, said. You're able to put words to things that sometimes maybe some of us think but aren't able to articulate it. And it's because, obviously you have so much wisdom and you do a lot with divine. Like you really work with divine. And do you want to tell us a little bit too about maybe if you feel called about your practice and some of the stuff you do personally?
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
You're so cute. I love you.
I call it. Thank you, Divine Man. I call it I call it the mastery of consciousness. And when we think about the mastery of consciousness, we are talking about every day when we wake up. There's a process. The process is you've got to start it like actually a rebirthing process every day. You wake up, then you want to firstly get into the right vibrations, and then you want to actually connect more with God source to be that, and then you would want to basically do your yoga from the perspective of an inner journey. And this your yoga as an inner journey ultimately leads you to simply being able to be the eagle that flies, right? Now, when you start flying in this, you begin to realize that you are now the timelessness in time. And now you are awakening the supermind states. The supermind states is amazing because it's like, having about 100 heads. It's having about, say, 1,000 heads. And then when you're working with this, you're sort of simply aware of so many different dimensions. At the same time, you have a singular focus on what you are doing. And you're condensing time to time. From timelessness, you're condensing time. In other words, you are not just manifesting, but you're also bringing together the potential of thoughts. Now, when you bring together the potential of thoughts, like for instance, when you are basically working with the wisdom of things, you're seeing things that humanity, has yet to see, and you're working with that. And also, you sort of like seem to know so many dimensions. One example of this is all of us are aware of the International Yoga Day, right? Now, 4 years before Prime Minister Modi had actually announced it in the United Nations, I had trademark registered World Yoga Day envisioning this. So when after he announced it, he came to me asking for his team came to me asking for permission, and that's when I realized. Of course, I gave it. I said, "You guys are doing a fantastic job, and you can do a much better job than me." And I simply said, "Take it." But at the same time, it sort of like made me aware that this is the potential that lies in every one of us to see the grand big picture for humanity. And that convinced me, yes, we are on the right path. So when we operate from the supermind state, one aspect is we are the heavens that is mentioned in all the religious text, because this is where you need to be and will be when you are the spirit having the human experience, or beyond the human experience, spirit having the angelic experiences. For instance, there's a worship. Somebody is praying. Isn't it amazing to feel that you are that prayer and that light coming together, and inside here, in that dimension, you are. So this is the supermind state. Okay, so this is one dimension that we go to. Now, when you know that, then you understand another concept which is brilliant, which is this the in the Vedic stories, you have a swan. And that swan, if you mix milk and water, it is able to drink just the milk, leaving the water behind. Now, that is what happens when your mind begins to attain greater quality. You begin to take in what is only good for you and you leave out what is not good for you. So you understand your food habits change, your discipline changes, your thinking process changes. You're beginning to understand two things. One is the law of karma. What you do, you get right back. And God in between is only something that you can really work with in case you know your dharma. Dharma is not only your higher purpose, but also the goodness that you are, the true being you are. Are you really that good? That goodness will protect you. That good deed, it offsets karma. So what you're offsetting is your fate. Now you're becoming the master of your destiny. Right? Now you are the master of your destiny because you are the spirit having a fantastic experience utilizing your human as the vehicle. You are utilizing yourself, your mind, and your body as a vehicle to do what you're wanting to do and getting it done. Now comes another transition. Then you realize, oh my God, I am happy. Why are you happy? Because you're not a satellite, you're not a little planet going round and round and round the sun. You have become the sun itself. What do you mean by becoming the sun itself? That is, everything that I need to know is within me. I simply am. I am. That I am is a powerful place because that is where the destination of yoga is. I am. So if you come to that I am and say, I am the sun, then what are the planets? The planets become your own higher purpose. Everything that you have been seeking starts going around you and around you and around you, and you do not chase anymore. You attract. Now comes the other dimension, the next layer, which is okay, so now all of this is good, but you're still in a human body. This human body has a shelf life. This is where yoga comes in. This is where I would really suggest to anyone and everyone, the first medicine you want to give yourself is walk. Walk. Simple. Walk. As simple as that. Walk. Meditate. Meditate. Walk. And while walking, see if you can actually connect to Source God through that particular process. Right? And then work through. Because you've got a higher mind working, you know exactly what to put inside your body, and food becomes a medicine. Right? And the third and the most important thing is, you now, when you are inspired, your energy starts going upwards. By law of gravity and by way of aging, from the age of 30, our energy starts going downwards and we begin to start getting old. But the moment you are inspired, you start reversing the process. Now you are an inspired being, no matter what. Nothing can take you away from being inspired. Nothing can stop you. So, when you are inspired and when you are working so wonderfully, your sleep condenses. Your sleep condenses. Now go into your sleep. How do you enter sleep? Do all that you want to do before you sleep. Turn to your left side, okay? Turn to your right side, sorry, okay? And read a book. Read a spiritual book if necessary, or simply turn to your right side, okay? Right side, okay? Right side, okay? And then when you are ready to sleep, turn to your left side, and when you want to sleep, go to your God, Goddess, your infinity, your absolute, go to that particular space. Ideally good to take a mantra and do it, okay? And enter your sleep into that light. So when you sleep, your sleep time condenses. You don't have any rapid eye motion. Everything condenses. Okay. And you come into just 4 hours, 5 hours, and you slept powerful. You've had a powerful sleep. And when you wake up, it's a born again experience. Okay. Anyway, divine beings, one thing I wanted to mention was this this February 1st to 15th is a powerful vortex of time that happens once a year, and that's called Mahasivratri. During this time, enlightenment is easily possible. Whatever I spoke about is about enlightenment. Okay. I did not use the word enlightenment, but all I said was to wake up. Okay. When you wake up to your multidimensional potential. You transform the human to a yogi. So these 15 days from February 1st to February 15th night is the journey, and I will be conducting it. All of this is for free. I've been doing it for many years. Prior to this, which is January 21st, which is once again in the next few days, 4 days or 5 days, I'm starting the whole process, the whole journey. So join me. Most of what I teach, I'm giving it for free so that everyone can come and join me in the journey. Okay. And yeah, let's journey together, because ultimately, when we are all powerful beings woken up, no limitations, darkness, ignorance can stand in our way of light. We are the ones. We are consciousness. Yes, divine beings.
Wow, Nandhiji, thank you so much. And would you be able to send me more information so I can share it with
I'll do that.
everybody?
I
I
will. I
love
will,
that.
divine one.
Yeah.
I
And
will.
then is this similar to, I know there was just a big holiday in India. Is this like kind of part of that? It
Okay,
was one that I
let me
never heard of.
explain. Let me explain. See, Mahasivratri is the time when all the planetary forces aligns itself. Not only planetary, but then it's once a year solar energy too that basically works itself. So if you notice from now to February 1st, February say first, there'll be a strange sense of depression for all of us. This will be all across the globe. There'll be a strange sense of loneliness, right? It's a little bit like Siddhartha, that sort of a loneliness. Okay, it's a universal thing that's happening right now. So for the yogi, this is the best time to go inward. Okay, but then what happens is at the end of the night, 15th night, you're supposed to stay awake. Now, if for instance a person does a weekend warrior thing of trying to stay awake, it's a difficult experience. But if we basically start working with us, we begin to start transcending time, and we begin to start transcending sleep itself. And we begin to start transcending the mind itself. In other words, you would begin to start going beyond sleep, beyond, it's called the sleepless sleep. Then you begin to transcend the body. The body goes beyond hunger. And you're now detoxing yourself because you've stepped into another zone. Now, when you come into this, you've tapped into the supermind. This is the supermind states of all the enlightened yogis across the globe, especially in India. And this is something that I hold by every Thursday. I hold that as a day of silence to experience this. That happens this once a year. I then go to my silence every Thursdays to experience this particular silence, this particular thing, this particular experience, Mahasivratri, once a year. Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, I know about Thursday. That's what I was hoping you. You're like, sorry, Divine One, can't talk for, the next day. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's Thursday.
Now you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I always honored and valued that you were doing that. And I want to do that. I've been taking a lot of time off the phone lately and just living my life. And I have my friend Abe that lives locally and brought me fruits and came over the other day. I never previously would have had anyone here during the day. I was work, 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 work. Now I'm like, that's not fun anymore. Like, I want to live my life and be in that super mind, super consciousness, like the higher levels of like, I consider it higher because as a trained theta healer, like I go up, even though it's not really
Mhm.
up.
Mhm.
That's the visual that I do. To like, you know, a theta state or like higher states of consciousness and to divine. So I'm so happy you spoke about that. That's amazing. And I would love to share what you're doing with the whole Healerverse community too. Yeah.
Thank you, Sacred One. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Divine Trish. And thank you to each one of us over here. Gratitude. Thank you. Wonderful. Have a spectacular day.